Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to Colorado. Carol here. The day is well underway, but it's time to begin a new vlog. So I am eating my very non-traditional brunch, aka Chinese food leftovers from last night. I have pork with rice and broccoli. So that is what I'm having for breakfast. I am all ready for the day. I have my Peace, Love, Unity shirt on. I have paired it with some little mushrooms. My hair is just clipped back up and on my head and hopefully out of my way. It is probably going to be a hot one. I'm wearing shorts today, but we've been indoors and so far so good in here. I also have my energy drink. Today I have an Alani Nu Cherry Crush. And that is simply because I do believe the Starbucks drinks are being phased out. I can no longer find them, not only at the grocery store, but also not at Dollar Tree. So RIP to my favorite energy drink. Again, why do they do this to me? They get me hooked and then they take it away. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Alani Nu. I think they are all too sweet, and sometimes I feel like they are making my belly a little upset, but what's a girl to do? I need sugar-free because of the diabetes, and that limits my options. I also like that there are 200 milligrams of caffeine in here because I need to be able to thrive, not just survive and crawl through the day. But that's where we're at right now. I need to scarf this food down, and then I need to drop Melanie off at a house sitting gig once again. Girl, she's just out there doing what she needs to do, grinding. So I'm gonna go drop her off, and then we have some errands to get up to today, and I'm going to take you along with me for that, and I will explain more later. All right, friends, update time. I have dropped Melanie off at her job and I am now at Walmart. And I don't have a ton to get in here. Truthfully, I do want to just kind of wander around and see what I can find. But there are two things specifically that I'm looking for. One is glue sticks to re-up our supply for the Girl Scout troop. I am in charge of all of the overall troop supplies. And so during the summer, I usually only need to replace a couple of things, specifically markers and glue sticks, because they just dry out over the summer months. And so I've already replaced the markers with our good old Crayola. I found them on sale for 99 cents a piece, which I think is pretty good. And so now I need to see what we can do for glue sticks. I need a bulk buy of them. So if I can get them all for like under $10, I'll be pretty happy with that. And then I need to look for tomato cages for our plants out back, because my tomatoes, oh my gosh, they are growing like gangbusters, but they essentially look like weeping willows right now, because at first, when we first planted them, they didn't have tomato cages anymore at Lowe's. And so I was just using the cage that they came with, but they're too big for that now. And we've got about 30 that are ripening, and I want to make sure that they succeed, because that's going to be one heck of a salad or whatever it is I decide to make from them. I'm thinking of making my own viral TikTok recipe with like the tomatoes and the feta cheese and the pasta, and you put it all together. I think that sounds pretty good, especially if we have a lot of them ripening at once. It feels like a perfect opportunity. And then I need to show you the garden in general, because the zucchini, my gosh, we know how squash loves to grow and grow and grow. And then the strawberries are coming in hot as well. So I'll probably show that to you all later today. And hopefully Walmart has those cages. Otherwise, I will need to go to a secondary location. And then I'm thinking of checking out some thrift stores today as well. Again, I don't really have anything that I need, but it's just one of these days where I feel like being out of the house, roaming around. I'm on my own. Usually I have Joanna, but she did not sleep last night. And so she's actually asleep in my bed this morning. And I was like, I'm just gonna let her do her thing. So it's just me today. Okay, here we go. 12 count. I only buy Elmer's. If you know, you know. And They are $4.47. I'm gonna get 3, so it'll end up being a little bit over $10, but that is pretty darn good. There's like nobody in the garden section today. Look how pretty these are right there. Oh, these are pretty too. Gorgeous. Luckily they have the thing that I need. Tomato cages. And a lot of them too. Take that, Lowe's. Okay, listen. You can bring back a lot of things from the 90s and I really won't bat an eye. But why are we bringing back the fold over leggings with the boot cut situation? These did not look good on anyone except a 0-0. And most people are not a 0-0. So yes, I'm gonna hate on these. This is like PTSD of my youth. Do you all know that universal truth that like when you're walking around a store, inevitably you have to go to the bathroom because all of the walking gets things moving? I am headed to the best toilet in Walmart, which is usually the one at the back of the store, not the front. I don't know what to think of this new free assembly line at Walmart because what? A pleat? Wash it once, see what happens. Down here, I have a dress just like this. But H&M's version, I do like the fruit at the bottom. Okay, they got me with that. This, I cannot tell if I love it or hate it. But we're going into the next season, so I don't know how useful it's gonna be. And then this piece de resistance. Why did I immediately start singing Yo Gabba Gabba when I saw this? If you know, you know. Now, obviously, this is not what the young children are watching right now, but this is the generation my girls are from. Part of me is like, challenge accepted, because I love the colors, and the other part of me is like, what the fuck? I do like what's behind it, though. Oh, no. Pineapples! What's the one behind that? Oh, bananas, of course. A store I have no business going into, but that's where we're headed next. And happy August and a good return to our Lord and Savior, Spirit Halloween. I'll see you soon. Well, luckily I didn't go too crazy in Five Below. I just got 2 things. I'll show you when I get home. I love August and back to school time at stores, even if I'm not buying anything. I remember the excitement of going back to school when I was a kid. And even though I wasn't a huge fan of school, I was a really big fan of school supplies, paper products, pens, markers, the smell of new pencils. Ooh, it always got me. And this year is really strange because I only have 1 kid going back to school. Of course, Melanie graduated last year, so that's great. And I only have Joanna left in school. And this year, she is starting high school, which is just wild. So another one that's like nearing the end of the schooling journey. And she's also doing an online program this year. So we don't need any school supplies, and anything she may need, we already have at the house from past years of homeschooling and just generally buying school supplies. So while I'm having a blast going inside and looking at things, this year I do not have to worry about looking at all those lists and figuring out where to find the exact right number of paper 3-prong folders in all of the correct colors. You know what I mean. And now I am going to head to the thrift store and just go wander around. It is nearing 1 o'clock now, so I've just been, enjoying my time by myself today. And I think I'm gonna start with ARC and then also hit up either a Goodwill and a Dollar Tree, or just the Goodwill, but we'll see. I'm in an area where there's like a bunch of stuff really close together, so that certainly helps me be able to just bop around and see things. A vintage Avon. These used to hold aftershave, men's cologne, things like that. Very cool. Look at this vintage souvenir salt and pepper shaker, fresh from Florida. I am debating. It's $4 though. I don't know if white tags are on clearance today. I always think it's funny when I see things that I own at the thrift store, and in this case, I'm wearing them. All right, I am back home. It's now like 4 or 5 hours later. And this is everything that I got. I don't think I did too bad. These, of course, are paid for by the troop, but the glue sticks for the Girl Scout troop. At Goodwill, I found Scarlet. This is the sequel to Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. And I read this book in high school. And then I swear it felt like a Mandela effect where I could never find it again. I had gotten it from the library, and this is like a perfect, pristine, feels brand new copy. So I'm super excited to have this and add it to my collection. And I'd like to be able to find a nice copy of Gone with the Wind as well. So that's on my thrift wish list. And so yeah, Scarlet. It's a very long book, but so is Gone with the Wind. Go past Carol for being able to get through that. At Walmart, I did pick up some dog treats for the dog's toy. It takes like little tiny treats to go inside so they can play with it. I did buy the salt and pepper shakers because hello, vintage. And then I did a Google image search, and this is selling anywhere between $6 to $12 on the internet. So $3.99, pretty happy with that. I also picked up this shirt from ARC, same location. This was $4.99, just a basic burgundy top. I picked up from Five Below some phone accessories. One is a clear phone pouch. This is for concert life, and a lot of venues require clear anything, and so sometimes I don't have pockets. So this is going to be great for that. And then another phone accessory, a waterproof phone pouch. We have a water adventure upcoming next month, or this month actually. Oh my goodness. Time just keeps on moving. And I am going to need something to keep my phone safe. So I got that. And then I did end up stopping at Dollar Tree. I got this for my office. I just needed something to hold paperwork. And we were needing more paint for the house. So I just re-upped the paint supply for Joanna. And then we needed some more paint brushes. So I got that. Melanie uses them too, but Joanna uses them most. And then look what Dollar Tree had. It's not my blueberry lemonade, but I'll take what I can get. Things have gotten wildly out of hand. Thomas is cutting off the small cage, and then we're going to see how in the world we're going to do this. But as you can see, Lucy is definitely a weeping willow right now. Ethel at least has the exterior of the greenhouse to lean against. Well, that's significantly better. Hopefully she survived all that. I think we're going to be fine. And we're not going to try and cage Ethel because honestly, she's doing great back here. There are so many things popping up. We got these little babies right here coming up. There's a bunch over here. They're everywhere. It smells delicious in here. Over here, this is what the strawberries are looking like. I'm going to pick that strawberry before I leave, and this one too. But lots of flowers coming up. Looking good. I'm going to cut the basil back down again, but the basil's looking really good. Obviously, down here is not, but again, things have just kind of gotten overrun. The lavender still lives, thank goodness. The lettuce, whoa. Got a whole salad going on there. The peppers are coming back, so we're hopeful for that. And then look at all the flowers in the squash and zucchini bed. But also, like, damn, trying to take over the whole garden. We see you. Thomas has been cutting it back, but you know how this is. This is just what they do. They're like, we are here. It's the Sagittarius of the vegetable plants, I guess. So pretty looking. Look at all this. And our Colorado specials are looking good as well. Getting bushy.
Look at this guy.
I know. This little lady's just stunted. But her sisters are doing great. Here we go. I've got the basil over here and the lettuce over here. Nice and washed. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And it tastes so good, you guys. At a time where I am not trusting industrial lettuce, it feels good to know that I can at least enjoy a salad this evening. Good morning, friends. Welcome to the next day. Thomas and I are headed to breakfast. There he is. I have a work event later today, but it's morning. We are up, and I'm ready to go have some pancakes. That's what I'm in the mood for. I have my Alani Nu. Today, I am trying the strawberry sunrise for the first time, and so far so good. It is less sweet than the, what did I have yesterday? The cherry crush. So at least there's that. Alrighty, we are back from breakfast. I didn't even film because I've shown you this restaurant before, and all I get is the ham and egg scramble with pancakes. And that is what I got today. Sometimes I change up what I get, but not usually. All right, we are opening. If you saw my last vlog, you will know that I found the Mini Brands Really Works Magic Cook Kitchen at my local Target, and I got very excited when I found it. And today we are unboxing this bad boy. My goal is to rearrange my window display, and I am currently waiting for some items from Amazon to help me with that venture. I just have like an idea in mind. And the way the window display is, I like to have a display that people can see from outside, of course, but then also I want it to look nice from inside as well. And that is really where the hard work is, in like rearranging things and making sure that it looks good from all sides. I have a knife because I'm just trying to make this a little bit easier on myself with getting through all of the sticky stuff. So this part is now open, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. There we go. And now that is open. This is what it looks like. Wow, it takes up the whole frame there. So we have a sink, a stove, a piece of just kitchen, and then what is that over there? I am not sure. A dishwasher maybe? Let's flip it. Oh yes. And of course we can see more on the back. So this is what it looks like, including the fridge, which I already have. And so all of them match in size. Let's get into it. So I'm just gonna start pulling stuff out. And I'm sorry if you're shaking. What can I say? You're on the table and so is the box. There is some stuff in the box, but I'm just gonna focus on freeing this from here. And then once I'm done with all of that, I will be back with you. I've moved the camera angle so you all have a little bit better of a view. Here is our kitchen, fully taken out of the box. I need to put in our batteries. This does require 3 AA batteries, which I think we have, so fingers crossed. Over here we have the dishwasher. So when you open that, you can see it does have the rack inside. It also comes with 2 dirty plates, as well as 1 used cup, which I think is really cute. We have a milk stain in there because, of course, everything really works. So we have the dirty dishes that will go in the dishwasher. In here, I'm going to show this to you last. But over here we have our stove, and I'm assuming there will be a light up here. There's a button, which I'm sure is to turn it on or off. And then when you open it up, you can see that there is a tray in here. This is a UV light oven, and there are knobs here as well. And this one in the middle moves. And then so does this one over here. It also comes with our tea kettle, which I'm sure gets placed over here. Of course, I will play with all of this in a little bit once I get the batteries in. And then we have the sink, and then under here is just additional storage. And you can put water in here, I'm guessing. There's a little spot where you can pour some water into the back, and then this is supposed to turn on, and these knobs, this knob does turn, so I'm sure that's on and off. These are connected. However, they can disconnect, and you can see that there are the connection points on that side, and there's a connection point over here as well, which I think is interesting. Kind of curious to see if the fridge connects to that. I'm gonna turn it around here and show you the back. So over here, this is the sink. We're gonna go in reverse order. You can pull this out, and that is where I'm guessing you pour in your liquid. And it does come with a little cup as well. Over here is the stove, and I'm unsure what this does, but if you click that, this comes out, and there is a little something going on in there with that, and then you can just put it right back in. Over here is the actual storage of the battery pack, and then I'm guessing our on-off switch. And then over here, you can load something into the dishwasher, and then there's also a switch over here. So not sure exactly what that does. Maybe, oh, you know what? I think that is the button for that. So you do that and like lock it into place. Unsure. And then there is a button on the front of the dishwasher for you to turn it on and off as well. But let's circle back to here. And we have some surprises. So I'm gonna pull these out and get them opened if I can. Trying to use my non-dominant hand. Oh my gosh, they are really in there. Okay. So let's open up our first one. All right, so it says Magic Cook Kitchen, and we have some vegetables. So there are those. And we also have in here a set of tongs. Those are cute. Next, oh my goodness. Kudos to that shelf. It's bigger than it looks. Here we have our turkey dinner, and that is where we will putting those vegetables as well. And then the last little one in here, we have, I have no idea. Oh, maybe to go on the, you know what? I don't know. Unsure what these are. I will figure it out with the directions. But that is that. I'm gonna get some batteries in it and see what I can do next. All right, batteries are in, working great. We're gonna steam our tea. So the best way to do that is you turn this switch on, and then you turn this overhead fan on. And then I don't know if you guys can see it, but the steam is billowing out and going up into the fan. Very cool. We have our oven, so you can turn that on. But first, let's put in our turkey. So we have our dinner all ready to go. I'm gonna pop that in there. and then turn this on. Actually, let me turn this off first. There we go. And then while our turkey is cooking, we can see the sink in action. There's not a whole lot of water in there. I removed most of it. But you can see the motor goes on and it really works. And you can even fill your tea kettle, which is pretty darn cool. Because you know, you might need some tea and then you can get that steam effect. And of course, we have our fridge over here looking good. I've got it filled with all the stuff still. And come back over here to the oven. This light will turn off automatically. And then we can turn it off and open it up and pull out our now roasted turkey. And you can see the color differentiation there from the UV light. Okay, done playing with the kitchen for now. I have a work event, so I'm gonna go get ready for that real quick. And then hopefully while I'm gone, we should have an Amazon order arriving hopefully today, but maybe tomorrow. And when that arrives, I'm going to actually take some time to like create the window display itself. But for now, that's where the kitchen is. Doesn't look very exciting from inside, but you can see it from out there. Hi friends, I am back from work. I had a blast and my Amazon order came while I was gone. Part of it is behind me actually on the record player. Those are items that I am taking to my office for my desk at work. And then the other items are for the window. So I am going to work on decorating the window space. I have not decorated since I took the stuff down from Christmas. This window has been looking pretty sad. So I am excited to get something in here other than the nothing that was here before. I have these two little shelves that I need to assemble or have Thomas help me assemble. To be determined on that. We'll see how well I get on. And then I have my bin full of display items. I have a bunch of these vintage white milk glass vases. I have some doilies. We have some tins. Some of this is like Easter stuff, but I won't be putting that out. However, I do want to get the fairy village out. So very excited to play around in the window. And here is what it's looking like right now. So this is Pam. This is Melanie's plant. Pam will remain and probably just scoot her over a little bit. And then I have some of my minis over here. Unsure what I'm doing with those. The kitchen though, I want it facing my direction so I can enjoy it. And so I want to create a scape looking out that's more of like our fairy village, and then my minis facing inwards because I like to look at them. So we'll see what this looks like at the end. Oh my God, I did it. Shelves are assembled. I apologize. I turned the AC back on because I needed it. I'm also watching some YouTube. And this is the underside of the shelves because I wanted to show you it also comes with these little 3M pads to protect your surfaces. And then here is this shelf here, a triple tier. I am excited. It's time to take the stuff out of the bin. Here is the bin. I think I already showed y'all. Okay, I'm gonna unpack the bin, but first I need to wipe down the window area. Alrighty, I am done with this for now, and I'm very excited with how it turned out. So over here, I have the vases with some fake florals, and then some of my mini items. So we have the Taco Tuesday from the grocery collection, as well as the frozen foods. From the Miniverse animals, I have here a hamster, I have a cockatoo, I believe. Over here is a robin, and then I have a guinea pig up here. Oh my goodness, I know it's difficult to see with the sun. And then a little plant as well. And then I have some handmade items that the girls made forever ago, and I just love to see it, as well as this handmade lavender plant that one of the girls made. And then you can see peeping through, I have a doily down with the fairy village. And then in back here is the perfect spot for the kitchen. And it's looking great. And then on this side, I have a basket, some tins. I love collecting vintage tins. And actually this tin was my late grandmother's. I have several items from her. She had in there some sewing notions and things. And then I'm gonna go outside so you can see it, but over here we have the fairy village. I have this fake snake plant. I have my absolutely beautiful floral vase, which I'm hoping will look really pretty from the outside. And then over here is more of that fairy village again, just up, so that way it can be seen in the window. That's the goal anyway. Here is what the view looks like from the exterior, and I think it looks beautiful, especially with the evening light streaming through the window. And depending on where you're standing and the time of day, you'll be able to see things a little bit differently. It's all about perspective, right? But I really love the way the vase looks. It is such a beautiful piece, and honestly, I wanted that to be the standout in the window, and I do believe I achieved what I was hoping for. Well, it feels really good to have that project done. I am currently waiting for Thomas to bring dinner home. He went and grabbed some Chipotle for us. Joanna is having a frozen pizza, so I do not want frozen pizza, but I will happily have Chipotle. He got us quesadillas, yum. So I'm waiting for him to come back with that. We're gonna eat dinner, and then I am going to get started with a book this evening. It is time to unwind. I had a comment recently on a video that was like, Carol, you're doing a lot. And friends, I promise I'm doing a lot because these are things that are bringing me joy, and I like being out doing things. But I do understand that balance and rest are also important too. And while I don't always share that part with you, just know that in the background, I am doing that. So for example, this evening, I am planning on playing a little bit of Sims on my computer, and I am planning on starting a book. So I will grab that after dinner, share that with you, and then hopefully update you along the way. And I'm excited. It's been, I don't know, 2 weeks since I picked up a book, and I am ready to hopefully fly through the 3 that I have on my most recent TBR pickups that you would have seen in the last vlog. All right, I know the AC is loud, but like, what's a girl to do? I am cozy in bed, ready to start reading. I am going to start How to Survive Camping I do believe this is a series. This one is The Lady in Chains, but looking through the back of the book and some reviews online, I didn't read any spoilers. I just was curious if this is a series, and I do believe it is. So if I like this one, then I can continue in the series. And, it seems like a grown-up Girl Scout good time. So we shall see. Y'all, maybe booktubing is not for me. I'm like, I'll update you when I get a little bit further into the book. And then I proceed to read the entire book. I kind of knew that was going to be the vibe for this one, just because it's not very big. And there are sections. Let me see if I can find one. They're not big sections by any means, but there are sections of the book that are taken up by like an insert box. And so there's just less to read overall. I really enjoyed this. It was campy in the best way, and it has to do with monsters. And that was a lot of fun. So I really liked the main character, and I really liked the campground that she runs, and I will be back for more. Now, weirdly enough, as I was saying before, this is part of a series. And where did I start? Not at book 1, but at book 2. So this is book 2 in what is going to be right now a 3-part series. The third book actually releases in September of this year, which means now I have a little timeline because I want to read book 1 before book 3 comes out to make sure that I am all caught up with the lore that this book has to deliver. Essentially, this is about a family that has owned a campground for generations, and the land that they live on is inhabited by supernatural, unnatural creatures and persons. Are they really people? That is explored in this book. And so it's about surviving life on the campground and ensuring that each summer you lose as minimal amount of people on the campground as possible. And I just think there's something a little tongue-in-cheek and funny about that. The idea of campers being swallowed by supernatural creatures and then the local police just kind of helping you brush that off. Anywho, this was a really good time. Plus, can we talk about how beautiful this cover art is? Hello. There is another cover art that this book has. If I remember, I will pop it up on the screen during editing. But I am really glad I found this version because it's gorgeous. And I want to find the first book, which has more of like a red tone. And then I think book 3 is going to be green. And that's pretty fun because, I love me a good green moment. So that's it. Would I recommend How to Survive Camping? Absolutely. I am giving it 4 stars. And the only reason that I am giving it 4 stars and not 5 stars is because there is a particular motif in here that I was not expecting, that I am not a huge fan of. And no, it's not puppets, although that has jump scared me a couple times this year, hasn't it? And I don't want to give it away because it would be a spoiler to the primary plot, but it's just something that I'm not a fan of. And it's just something that, like, if I think too much about it, I will have a nightmare about it, But does that stop me from enjoying horror or horror adjacent things? Absolutely not. And did I have a great time reading through this entire book? Yes, I did. There was a really good conclusion, and for me, that is a huge deal. Like, I want you to land the plane. If you are giving me really good plot, we have a lot of action happening, I want a good land the plane moment. Do not leave me hanging. And so I appreciate Bonnie Quinn for having a really good idea and a really good ending to the book, while also making me look forward to book 3. And when you are writing a series, that is so important. What I also found really interesting is that even though I started with book 2, it was very easy for me to pick this up and read through and understand the premise of what was happening. And so I have a feeling that each of these books is almost like a Scooby-Doo style, right? Like, you know the general premise of Scooby-Doo, but the individual storylines or episodes is where you're really getting to know the characters. And so that's what this felt like. And that makes me excited for book 1, because it means that I haven't missed too much, but also I'm going to get some lore on the campground and the family, and that is a lot of fun. So if you are looking for a campy, no pun intended, good time, and something that is horror adjacent but is still light enough to potentially read on a beach, I would highly recommend this one, and it was so much fun. And with that, my friends, I'm going to close out today's video. Do not mind the things in the background. That's the sweater I was wearing last night. I have a little too much lipstick right there. It's driving me crazy. Sweater I was wearing last night. Clothes and miscellaneous things that I am already collecting to donate to the thrift store, because as much as I love going and thrifting, I also love donating items back into the universe. Very much like give free, get free, you know? And while, yes, I spend money at the thrift store, it's nothing compared to what I would if I was buying everything purely at regular prices. Oh my gosh. So I hope that you enjoyed these couple of days hanging out with me. And now a little book review. What are you guys reading currently? I'd love to know in a comment down below. Or are you just chilling this summer? What fun things has your family gotten up to? And have you seen any good movies lately? I want to chat about it and just keep the conversation going with y'all. And for my YouTube friends out there, put out videos so your girl has something to watch. Okay? Okay. And with that, my loves, I will see you next time. Don't forget to give this one a big thumbs up and hype it if you can. I have no idea how that works on YouTube, but you know, they encourage creators to say things like that because it helps push my content out to other lovely persons such as yourself who enjoy hanging out and watching vlogs, because I know I do. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.